We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics. Voter fraud. We have put together voter fraud. We have put together voter fraud, the most extensive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Sunday Night Live, and we have some next level SHTF coming, folks. Welcome one, welcome all. We are live at the zoo. Let's see, we got the subscribestar.com, we've got the preparedmind.com, and we've got YouTube. All here in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And in the background, we've always got BitChute and Rumble, etc., etc. Everyone, welcome one, welcome all. But if you've got something to say, if you have a point to make, if you've got a joke to tell, some history to recall, a prognostication for the future, hit that super chat button up there, or send us a message through PayPal, CashApp, or Venmo, link down below. If you're new to the show and you're wondering what is this all about, hit the subscribe button down here. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. And of course, always share the internet address up there. We've got a nasty one for you here this week, folks. And yes, it is going to circulate around the debate and Joe Biden as Joe Biden circles around the toilet to go down and out. As usual, we have a big super chat donation coming from Chin Music and also Darcy T to start the week out. I love starting the week out that way. Why? Why, you ask? Well, any super chat donation that is $50 or more, or $49.99, because sometimes YouTube won't let people do a 50, buys me a 15-year Glenlivet single malt Scotch whiskey. Scotch whiskey right here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start it off, and it gets my jaw loosened up there, because we got some jaw jacking to do over this, folks. So I'm going to pour a nice, healthy starter Scotch right here, because we're going to entertain what Darcy T has to say to kick this show off. But first, well, let's see what she has to say. Mr. Ooman is in the house. He's got the blue wrench. He's the moderator. He's behind the scenes. And Jolene will be in here in just a few minutes. Where you at, Jolene? All right, Darcy T says, my take on the debate is the puppet masters were signaling to the plebes Biden won't be in the race much longer. They allowed us to see the fumbling, mumbling, doddering oldster who is ready, this is a terrible thing she said, to join the ranks of the nearest old folks home. I tell you what, Mr. Ooman, once I get done doing all of Darcy's comments, let's go back to the first one she's got, please. And she says they are greasing the skids to introduce the new replacement. So, who are the most likely candidates that they can select from? At this moment, it's Gavin, Hillary, Kamala, and Michelle. Of these four, says Darcy T, my guess would be Gavin Newsom, even though he is a complete moron. Not so much about his ability, or in this case, inability, to lead, but because he is younger and has a snappier image. It's all about optics and camera appeal, and it is hard to argue with that. We've got so much to unpack here on this great Sunday Night Live, and boy, folks, nastiness is coming. And when I say nasty, I'm talking about a vicious bunch of cannibals who are starving, and they haven't even lost power yet, and they're starving. They're desperate. They will maul and kill each other to get in a position to hold their power. Lots of reasons why, and I'll ask you, why do they have to fight this hard? Can't they regroup? What are they afraid Trump's going to do? What could happen to America, their globalist plan and all their bullshit? Lots to unpack. Darcy continues, says they will be able to build him up and sell him to the dumbed down public a lot easier than the rest. Woo! All right. What else? Bottoms up. And here it is. Bottoms up. Salut. Prost, semper fi, cheers, and down the hatch. That's a damn fine way to start the show right there. Thank you, Darcy T. Now, let's go back to page 1, if we may. The puppet masters, I think, had to do this. They're signaling the plebes by showing them Biden cannot make it. They have tried propping him up. They have tried camera tricks. They have tried the mainstream media. They have tried the talking heads online. They've tried TikTok. They've tried everything known to man. X, Twitter, right? They've tried Facebook, Meta. It's not working. No one's buying it. And now they had to do it. He was sacrificed at the debate because Joe Biden will not step down. He will not get out of the way. He should have resigned years ago, but he refused. And this brings up kind of an interesting point. Who is the power? Who is there to pick up Joe when he stumbles? Who's there to wipe the drool on his chin? Who is right there with Joe Biden, making sure his fanny's clean and his Depends is fresh? None other than Dr. Jill Biden. And there is historical precedent for the First Lady actually controlling a good deal of what comes in and out of the White House. Who is it? Who is it that is grooming the children in this country the most? Teachers. Dr. Jill is a doctor of teachology. She's a teacher. What have we seen from this president more than any? I think it probably even embarrasses the shit out of Barack Obama, whose wife is a man, allegedly. Right? Jill doesn't want to give up the power. I believe Woodrow Wilson became ill in office and seemingly his political personality changed when his wife seemed to run the show. Just a little aside. I think they needed to prove that Biden, you will lose. Prove it to Biden, prove it to Jill, and give them a chance to step down. Stop embarrassing themselves and embarrassing our nation. They don't care, folks. They don't care about embarrassing us. They don't even care about embarrassing themselves. I think Jill Biden is scared to death, and the rest of the Biden family, that they're going to lose their big guy kickback. They don't care what they do to this country. Look at them. Folks, this shit show is getting bad. It's really hit the fan. I think they're giving him a chance to not be 25th Amendmented, but on the other hand, signaling to the plebes, they needed us to see him fumble, bumble, daughter, and show us what an oldster he is, ready to get, put out to pasture at the Shady Oaks rest home. So here we are. He will need to be removed. If he just resigns, we got a problem. If he resigns too late, we have a problem. They've got to get rid of Biden and replace him no later than the Democrat National Convention, which of course will be held in Chicago. They're going to hold it in Chicago, folks. Land of screwy lunatics and ghetto shit, gangland and bullets flying. It's not going to be pretty there either. Now, let us continue. Joe Biden needs to be 25th Amendmented. What does that mean? Well, according to the 25th Amendment, if the president becomes mentally incapacitated or incapable of doing his job, he can be removed by others. He doesn't have to do it. His wife doesn't have to do it, right? And they kind of came up with it supposedly, well, what if the president has a coma? Isn't feeling too good, right? There has to be a way to sweep him aside. I think Thursday's performance ought to be enough. I don't know why everything else wasn't enough, but here we are. So we have a bunch of unlikely candidates for president stepping up. If we can, Mr. Uman, let's move forward a little bit and take a look at who Darcy T pointed to as candidates. Gavin, Hillary, Kamala, and Michelle. Now, if he is 25th Amendmented, Kamala becomes president briefly. And yeah, that means her face will be in the book forevermore. The same way Gerald Ford is a president in the book, even though he did not win an election. He still served as president. So Kamala would become the first female president of the United States because she was ticketed with the most feeble-minded, addle-brained, dementia-riddled president ever. So they are now, get this, folks, Nancy Pelosi decided she was going to weigh in and tell everyone that Trump is the one who has dementia. It's like, really? Are you kidding me? She actually said that. Then she had her own senior citizen moment, lost her train of thought. So Kamala doesn't become the immediate candidate. She is the president. And trust me, they will not let her, or should not let her, talk to anybody. They shouldn't. They really shouldn't let her talk to any foreign leaders. She is a fucking moron. So Kamala will be president, but the DNC, the party itself, nominates or selects who their presidential candidate will be. We have a primary election, which tells the party who we want, right? Democrats pick Democrats line ball. Republicans pick, well, typically a rhino. Well, in this case, we've got Trump right there, and he's not going away. It's going to get interesting. So here we are. We got Gavin, Hillary, Kamala, and Michelle. But like I said, these are a pack of cannibalistic hyenas who are going to tear at the carcass of Biden as he lays there, politically dead. And others have joined in. And the most notable that wants to be president is from the state of Michigan. None other than the Wicked Witch, Gretchen, the Wicked Witch Whitmore. That same bitch who in 2020 told all of her people, oh, you want to protest? You want to protest? You get 6 more weeks of lockdown. You get another month of lockdown. You get another 2 months of lockdown. She kept locking them down. I can't see how any of that is good. Why would anyone want someone who looks like Nancy Pelosi's twin fucking sister? It's a mess, folks. We're almost at 300 people live as we build up the crowd for this Sunday night next level SHTF zoo show. It's beautiful. Now, Darcy T picked Gavin Newsom. I know everyone has a guess. Everyone has a guess. So when I look at Gretchen Whitmore, she doesn't have a national persona. The only thing we could possibly remember her for is the lockdowns and being an absolute see you next Tuesday. Let's move over to Kamala. She's got a mouthful of salad she spits out. She can't make a bit of sense. And anytime someone is in a tragic or painful situation, she laughs about it. An uncomfortable, cringy laugh at other people's suffering. I don't know if she's a sadistic bitch or if she's just fucking stupid. In any event, no. Hillary is a 2-time loser, but she would not mind stepping back in and trying to beat Donald Trump. I really thought she was on death's door back in the 2016 presidential campaign, but she's back. I guess she got her fill of adrenochrome and keeping herself alive for a little while. Anyways, enough of that silly stuff. I really don't think Hillary is it. I think she's a used character. I think she's spent. There is no call for Hillary. In fact, there's really no call for anyone in the Democrat Party, including Joe Biden. Now, I do agree that Gavin Newsom, the man who slept with his campaign manager's wife, got caught, then apologized for it, and is still serving as governor of California. What a sack of shit. And his own wife slept with none other than Harvey Weinstein. Rim shot off her rim. Pretty filthy stuff there. Oh, by the way, Michelle Obama also loved to appreciate and appear with Harvey Weinstein. That's funny how these people all seem to flock together. If I was to pick anyone, though, and go ahead and put in your comments. All through the show, Oliver can just put up there. If you want someone for president on the Democrat Party, just put their name down. Newsom for president or Hillary for president. Who do you think should become president? If you've got something to say about it, though, you'll need to hit the super chat button to get your comments on the screen, folks. That's how you get your questions, comments, prognostications, your thoughts, or just basically how you feel about the entire shit show. We just crossed the 300 mark, and we're sitting at 308. What a comfortable number for me to see up on the screen. A 308. Woo! Okay, I tell you, I really think that their best bet, in all truth, is Gavin and Michelle. Gavin Newsom, presidential candidate. Michelle is VP. I don't think Michelle will take that. I think Michelle wants to be, well, she said she doesn't want to be. I don't think she's ready. Like I said, she's untested. But yeah, Gavin Newsom. Now, remember, Gavin debated Governor DeSantis. And Gavin got his ass kicked. He doesn't have the national presence. And he, by the way, of course, is Nancy Pelosi's nephew. He is a slime bag. He would fuck a snake if he could hold it still. He is a giant piece of shit. Period. After what he did to Taylorsville and Greenville and what happened up in Northern California with all the fires, and that's just the fires. You wouldn't believe, folks, the pristine beauty of the Northern Sierras and Southern Cascades that were destroyed when Gavin was sending our firefighters in California up into Oregon and not fighting the fires up north. It was his way of punishing. Look up Taylorsville. Look up Greenville. Burned those cities to the fucking ground. Anyways, yeah, it's a little personal. But I do think he's their best chance, even though he's got no fucking chance, even with their cheating. Now, I think it is time for Chin Music. He's got a $52.23 super chat donation, came through Venmo. And of course, Darcy T did $50 through PayPal. So $50 says Chin Music plus a 223. We all know what that's good for. Thank you, brother. And that's good for a Glenn Levitt 15 right there. Oh, yeah, that's the good stuff. I tell you, the good stuff. All righty. Well, let's have a shot. I want to thank you, Chin Music, for all the great support, the comedy, keep me laughing with your emails and stuff. Semper Fi to you, brother, and Semper Fi to everybody here at the show. We just topped 330 and rising. I'd love to hit 400. Hit that thumbs up, share that internet address, and down the hatch. Woo! God, that's just like mother's milk. So Chin Music says, the month of assless chaps and dildo straps is coming to a close. The city of Chicago is really on top of Metra having enough trains to haul all the fruit salad to the parade and picnic. And you know what else has been going on with these fruitcakes? Well, Chin has more to say. Glad they have their priorities straight. Meanwhile, we are barreling toward World War III with an open border getting worse, and we are a nation of commercial flight with a dead pilot. Smoke them if you got them. Holy shit, yeah. Okay, J.J. Carroll, retired Chicago police CB officer, has a documentary out in September called Treason, and it's about the border. Seen his interview and redacted. It's a must-watch. Happy Insurrection Week, people. Suck it, England. Wow. I'm telling you, got a lot to say there, man. Where do I start? Let's just start here. Let's start with assless chap and dildo straps. The English are every bit as awful as America when it comes to this woke, rainbow, fruit-felching fest of idiocy. Grown men in Chicago and other cities, including English cities, naked, meaning their dicks are hanging out, walking down the street at family-friendly pride parade. Is there an unfamily friendly? Is that legal? It's still public. You're still not supposed to have your fucking genitals hanging out. Now, I'm a big fan of boobs, but, right, I don't need to see beaver or clam on the street either. It's just not attractive. Not in that forum. But that's who these people are, in front of children, walking around. They think it's great. They are that disgusting and filthy. And I'm glad it's coming to an end, folks, but it ain't over. It isn't. More and more people are fed up and disgusted with these freaks. And there will be burnouts on their stinking rainbow paint. There will be gas poured on it and lit. And I'm not advocating it or celebrating it, but it's going to happen more and more. People have had it with this shit. I am one of them. And yeah, Chicago, they'll make sure they get all the freaks and fruitcakes there. Don't worry, they'll also make sure they have all of the ghetto trash brought up to the Golden Mile. But for the Democrat National Convention, they will try and keep it calm. They will, but I don't think they're going to do a good job of it. I really don't. Let's continue. What else did old Chin have here to say? Out there making friends with all his great T-shirts. I tell you, barreling towards World War III. That is a fact. In fact, there's a big news story out today about the South Pacific and China and its aggression in several island nations that in World War II or prior to World War II were controlled by Japan. Those islands are now on full alert. The RMZ is under attack. My friend Chansey, who is a VIP down in the nation of Palau, says their island is on alert. They have hundreds and hundreds of U.S. servicemen. That means Marines. Probably also means CBs and Navy personnel. All of the island chains in the South are getting ready for war. Now, last fall, I was at Paris Island, MCRD, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, talking with some Marines, and they said, yeah, they're doing a lot of island training as well. They're down there, they're getting ready. And folks, when you're on an island, you don't just walk away, you don't retreat. It's not even easy to get an airline out, right? Because there's a limited number of runways, and evacuation is awful. And the other part about being on an island is easier. You're a smaller, easier, denser target. And this is a horrifying prospect, folks. This is just one part of the World War III potential. If Joe Biden or Kamala Harris decides they need a war, if China looks at Kamala Harris in the White House and they're like, you fucking kidding me? China has no respect, folks. Zero respect for America. And you think it's going to improve with Kamala Harris and all the lipstick wearing, fishnet stockings that are running around the Pentagon? You think they really give a shit? Right? They are not afraid. It is an awful amount of trouble. We're barreling towards World War III. What a great way to put it, Chin. And then we've got the open border. We truly are, at this point, we're a commercial flight with a dead pilot, and it's on autopilot, just flying, just out there. It's just flying. It's just flying. Anyways, there we are, folks. That is how we're going to start this show. It is Sunday Night Live. We're at 375 people live right now. Share that internet address. If you haven't already, thumbs it up. Make sure you're subscribed. And Mr. Uman, who is up next with a super chat donation, and it's Biaxo with a $1.99 super chat donation. And he says, Camacho, not sure 2024 idiocracy. Who the hell's Camacho? Is that Macho Camacho? I don't know who that is. Anyways, the movie Idiocracy, folks, it was a really dumb comedy 2 decades ago. Now, Idiocracy is a documentary about the current Democrat globalist plan for the world. It's an awful, awful, awful indictment. Woo! I tell you what, let's continue. Thank you, Biaxo, for the great donation. Who else do we have in the world of the super chat donations? Where are we going next? Johnny. Who's Johnny? He says, AOC, anyone? AOC? It says monkey shit. Wait a minute. AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, not a chance. Even if she showed up on stage naked. No. Not happening. Not happening. No. Uncle Festerman is the best. Mikey G says Uncle Festerman's the best they have. All right, Mikey, I love you, buddy. But yeah, he's talking about Senator Fetterman, Uncle Fester, who's finally waking up and he's actually criticizing his own party. And then he got into an accident. He's still half brain dead and half retarded. And he's literally brain damaged. But yeah, he is actually one of their better candidates, but he doesn't stand a chance. He will not make it. He looks like a fucking nightmare on stilts. He will not be the next Democrat nominee. Thank you, though, Mikey G. All right, man. Are you going to blindside me anymore? Or no? We're going to go with my good buddy, Dan Erickson, with a $10 super chat donation. And this is awful, Dan. This is what he writes, and this is awful. It's an awful truth. It's an uncomfortable truth. If the entire world wasn't laughing at us yet, they are now after last Thursday night. And there are only 2 ways to replace Biden. If he resigns or the 25th Amendment, and that is correct. Those are their 2 options. Well, he could... Look, Dan, I know it's a long shot, but he could come down the White House staircase, and he's been known to have trouble with stairs. He could come down the staircase and trip on a stair, choke on a hot dog, hit the bottom, land on his feet, take his tricycle across the floor, and then snap and break his neck. It's possible. That's all I'm saying. He could die. He could have an accident. He could do a Vince Foster, take a walk in Marcy Park, shoot himself in the head twice. Literally. Vince Foster during the Clinton administration when he was about to testify in Hillary Clinton's boink, boink. He double capped himself, just in case he missed the first time. Now, I agree with you, Dan. The world is laughing at us. In fact, it's so bad. I think there's pity. Pity. I believe it may have been the Indian President Modi, but I can't recall. It's been an action-packed weekend, and I've been having some fun with my kidney stones again. That kept me from powerlifting over the weekend. Anyways, I believe he said he would prefer to have Trump in the White House. I think our adversaries around the world would prefer Trump in the White House. At least when they know, they pick up the phone and go, Mr. President, we need to talk. At least they're talking to a cognizant human, someone who's awake. Instead of talking to someone who's mumbling with a mouthful of fucking ice cream, or some dumb bitch who literally has a mouthful of salad and just spits stuff out of her mouth. That's what I think. But yeah, 2 ways to replace him. He could resign. I don't think they have the grace and dignity to do such a thing. I don't think Jill will allow it. In fact, both Democrats and Republicans in the national media and social media are all saying that this is actually elder abuse. He is a senior citizen. He is an elder, and he is being drugged. He is being treated like a chimpanzee, trained, told what to say, how to behave. And it's embarrassing, and it's actually disgusting. The man can't walk right. You can tell. Look, I have dealt with a lot of family who are at this level, a lot of friends who have been in this condition. And you don't do that to them. You don't push them out when they're incapable. You don't drug them up, put a little beeper in his ear, and then tell him what to say and hope he can say it. It was incredible what they did to the man. And then they claimed he had a cold. That's why he sounded funny. He has a cold. That may not even been Joe Biden anyways. May have just been some other doddering old fuck. Anyways, if he had a cold, why did they march him into a restaurant full of people after the debate? To spread the COVID-12? Yeah, I tell you folks, crazy days, crazy days. Crazy indeed. Okay, hey, we are at the zoo, folks, and we've got a lot of SHTF coming. Serious stuff coming. Very serious. Let's have some fun. Mr. Who-Man, who do we want to put up next as we sail on into the night? Holy cow. It's Chelsea Polsing Wayrung. Picture of her and her husband there. And she does a $49.99 super chat donation, sponsoring the show, making sure we've got lots of, well, good scotch, lots of tuna fish, and I had a nice tuna fish sandwich for lunch today, and Spam, that dual-purpose product, Spam. Spam's number one use, food, inexpensive food, long-term storage food. You bet Spam lasts a long damn time. Spam also is a radical jihad Muslim deterrent. It's kind of like a mosquito repellent. It's jihad repellent. Anyways, Chelsea, thank you so much. Semper Fi, down the hatch. That's just good. Winding me up, making me feel good. She says it wasn't so scary. That debate was comical. Oh, it was comical. I think Trump was actually a little subdued. I think he was there just to go through the motions, knowing that it was just going to stomp his liver out. He had some fun with it, but I think he was really respectful, because I've seen Trump be a lot less respectful. And I think that it was good that he held back and let Biden make himself look bad. Now, the comical part was really that this actually took place, that somebody so mentally incompetent was allowed out on stage. Unbelievable. But the scary part, Chelsea says, if it wasn't so scary, that debate was comical. The scary part is that's the president. A guy you wouldn't trust. Folks, I would not trust him to manage a hardware store. I wouldn't trust him to be the greeter at the hardware store. Literally. I wouldn't trust him to work the cashier at a store. What would he do? He would challenge people to push-ups, challenge them to fights, call them names, right? He would be yelling at people, getting mad and angry. Enough of the malarkey around here, right? Back when me and Genghis Khan were taking over Asia, he'd be telling bullshit stories. It'd be an embarrassment. In fact, social services would be to whatever business was there, and they'd be like, why do you have a doddering old fool? Someone clearly suffering from dementia, crapping his pants, Have you smelled that guy you hired? Get that old Biden out of here. That's what they would do. It's just comical, but that's what the world sees. This is American politics. This is American politics, putting the least capable of anybody up there, and that's the best. That's the best the Democrats have, folks. That is how embarrassing this is. That's the very best they have. Woo! All right, Chelsea, you got me wound up with that one. Good golly, let's keep on moving. It is your show. It's Sunday night, Next Level Zoo coming this week, and we've got Mr. Skylight in the house with a $19.99 super chat donation. And he's got us a great quote from the late, obviously, great Thomas Paine, a founding father, a patriot, an American colonist who had enough shit from the king that he staked his life, his family, and his fortune, just like everyone else who decided to stand up and salute the king. Then he said, quote, "A body of men holding themselves accountable to nobody ought not be trusted by anybody." How true is that? The body of men, which now includes women, fruitcakes, ding-dongs, dingbats, dipshits, butt pirates, and fruit salad toss and felch queens, right? This body is Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., folks. Thank you, Mr. Skylight. Washington, D.C. does not hold themselves accountable. In fact, they believe they are not held accountable. They believe they are special, superior, sovereign, independent of the judicial and law enforcement process, that they cannot be held accountable. They will not be found guilty. They don't have to obey themselves, decency, or their oaths. Therefore, folks, because we can't hold them accountable. Now, there are Democrats and some Republican scumbags out there in America, down in Atlanta, out in Arizona, up in Michigan, that are being arrested and tried for, well, you guessed it, voter fraud in 2020. But Washington, D.C., who was it that told all the polling places to close for the night? Who stopped all the count? Who gave that order? It was someone in Washington. Someone. Clearly someone. Now, when it comes to trust, and I want to thank you for this, Mr. Skylight, the United States Constitution, there was a body of laws before the Constitution, folks. After the Revolution and before the Constitution, there was the Articles of Confederation. And the more modern consensus was it wasn't working well enough. In my opinion, the people of the United States of America under the Articles of Confederation did not give it enough time. They did not give it enough time. When you form a nation and create things, it takes some time. I don't think the Articles are really that bad. Still, they changed and ratified the United States Constitution as the new law of the land. And George Washington was the first president under the United States Constitution. And essentially, folks, the people of the United States of America said, we do not trust the government. Nobody should trust government. We cannot trust government. You, me, any of us. So that's why they created the Constitution, to limit the government and its role and its authority and its power. The Constitution isn't an empowering document as much as it is a limiting document. The government may do this and it may do that. And that's it. The courts have held, the law is, unless it's written down, you're not allowed to do it. So through judicial review and judicial legislation and other forms of legislation and lies, the government has granted itself authority and said, well, there's an exception to that constitutional limitation, and there's an exception to that Bill of Rights. But the Bill of Rights itself was a vote of no confidence in all government, period. Vote of no confidence. That the government cannot be trusted, should not be trusted, will not be trusted. That's why they said First Amendment, you will not prescribe a religion. You will not stop our free speech. All speech is protected. All speech, with the exception of yelling fire in a room unless there's a real fire. You cannot incite violence. Run around telling people to start murdering and killing and looting and burning, except in 2020. I'm pretty sure I saw that in the First Amendment. Right? The government shall not respect any religion, right? Not limit our speech, yada, yada, the right to assemble peaceably, right? All of these things. But they assembled for violence in 2020. And then they encouraged each other, including the Vice President of the United States, by the way, that they continue to burn, loot, and murder just as they had, continue their actions. Anyways, very good, Mr. Skylight. Great quote for this week. Great quote. Washington, not accountable. They want to bring someone in who is equally unaccountable, like Gavin Newsom. Scumbag extraordinary. Folks, Democrats are satanic. Democrats are evil. Democrats are child molesters. Democrats are pedos. Democrats are thieves. Democrats are liars. Democrats are communists, and communists are murderers. I don't think I said anything that's out of line. In fact, folks, in the state I live in now, the great state of Florida, the great Republic of Florida, if I may be so bold, has said that, yeah, if you're a child molester, child rapist, you will, right, be held accountable, and you will be liable for the death penalty. And I love the fact that all these fruit salad, child molesting scumbags, they call themselves trans. They're like, well, this is just this is a paraphrase of someone who claimed to be trans in social media. This person, whoever they were, said, well, I'm trans and I'm crippled. And this law means that they're going to kill me. And I'm thinking, well, if you're just trans and gay, what's to worry about? The law is against not trans people. It's against hurting children. It just tells me that that's in their mind, because they are all, folks, all of them, in my opinion, have now proven themselves to me. I've seen enough evidence now that they all are minor attracted persons, and that there is no limit to where their sexual perversions will touch. That's why I say we've got some next level SHTF coming. Those people, folks, they're gonna try and stuff them back in the box, but they open the lid to the LGB box and let them all out, and they don't want to be stuffed in there. They don't want to be shoved back in the closet. So I think it's going to get nasty with those fruitcakes as well. All right, let's continue. I kind of getting sidetracked, and whoops. All right, Jeff Thackers checks in with a $5 super chat donation, and he says this: Sleepy Joe will sadly not wake up soon. Woo, that's a pretty good prognostication right there. Sleepy Joe is just going to go to sleep and stay asleep. And Big Mike Obama, that's right, will make her somber duty speech at the convention to accept, and I'm going to add to your comment, humbly accept the nomination and step up to her call of duty to serve this great democracy. I'm sure they love to throw around the word democracy. Anyways, Jeff, that is a great prediction. It is up there. I think it's really, in a lot of ways, a split decision between Gavin Newsom and Michelle. I don't think she's ready, but Gavin Newsom is a fucking loser. He is a loser. And when I say loser, I mean he's a loser. He's a political loser. He's just a failure all the way around. But he is a legacy Democrat. If you guys know anything about Nancy Pelosi, his auntie, Nancy Pelosi is the daughter of, shall we say, the mafia in Baltimore. She's related to Baltimore's people. the same way the Daly family in Chicago owned Chicago at one time. In any event, thank you, Jeff. Great to hear from you, man. Thanks for the super chat donation. That pays the bills. Make sure that we keep the lights on and the show coming here at the Prepared Mind channel. And you guys are part of the Prepared Mind Network and the rsyndicate.com. That is correct. If you would check out the rsyndicate.com, Uman owns that, controls it, keeps it there. It has everything prepping, everything news, everything, shall we say, woodscraft, anything related with being a patriot American, getting ready for the absolute shitstorm coming. And anytime you want, Mr. Uman, you may put that up on the board for people to read. It is, folks, the rsyndicate.com. It is not Q. No. That QAnon crap, by the way, is coming back. And see, I think it was Uman, me, Vaughn, and Kaz all did a four-way meeting years ago. And we decided that the R Syndicate needed to step up. It's not Q, folks. Q is a lie. Q is a sham. Q has proven to do nothing except lull people to sleep thinking somewhere else someone's taking care of business. It's not. It's up to you. I want you guys to get prepared. Hey, is Q going to put food in your pantry in case we run out of food? Is Q going to make sure you have power? Is Q going to protect you at your house? No. It is you, folks. It is you. And if you want information on how to stay prepared in all things, check out the rsyndicate.com. There's no better place, I don't think, to find resources for getting prepared all the way around. I don't mind that at all, saying that, because I think it's true. Now, in addition to the R Syndicate, if you need to get ready, if you need to stay alert, then I recommend you drink your coffee. Cafefe.com. I am a deplorable, folks. That's right. That's right. We dropped the L from Hillary's proclamation that we're deplorable people, and now we're just deplorables. Great coffee, folks. Patriotic coffee. They are patriots. The people at cafefe.com. All right, let's have some more fun. Super chat donations, super chat thoughts right here, right now. And Nancy Kegg steps on in with a $10 super chat donation. And she says, they that gay is the new black. What about Pete Buttigieg? Remember, folks, President Biden called Pete Buttigieg. I've called him butt gag, booty gagger, butt gag. But I think Biden was the best, called him booty juice. What about Pete Buttigieg waiting in the background and spring him in at the last moment? I'll tell you what, folks. Pete was the mayor of a small city. Now, you may as well nominate me to be president, because I've got probably the same executive experience as Pete. Pete is a disgusting freak of a human being who married another male, and the two of them adopted a child and then decided they would breast or chest feed that child. I would be repulsed if I grew up knowing I was sucking on a man's titty as an infant. What a cruel and stupid and perverted fucking thing to do. Disgusting. Pete Buttigieg. I don't think so. I really, now I do appreciate you putting his name up, Nancy. I'm not picking at you. What I'm saying is, yeah, his name could come up. He was a Democrat nominee right back in 2020. He was one of the early people to run, right? They had, let's see. It's hard not to laugh at the list of candidates. I had a guy named Cuban. We had Kamala Harris. You had Pete Buttigieg. They were all awful. awful. There was probably a dozen of them up there. And one of my least favorites it was this guy, right? They're all a bunch of pandering, just jackasses. I'll just, Beto, folks, Beto O'Rourke. They're just an embarrassing pile of idiots. And that's why Biden won back then. And that's why Biden is still their candidate. And we're well over 400 people live right now. Thank you, everyone. Pow, share the internet address up above. It is Sunday Night Live. It's the zoo. Everyone's here live. But if you've got something to say, you got to hit that super chat button up there or down below in the description. We have other links to get you on board. And it's your turn to talk. Mr. Ooman, Chin Music says he's next. Steps on up with a $9.99 super chat donation. And this is interesting. It's an interesting comment. He says, you really have to admire the Democrats for their commitment to embarrassing themselves and the nation. Every single day is a new low. And the word admire is interesting here. Because it's a resentful admiration in my book, in my estimation. I resentfully admire their commitment to destroy. They won't quit. If they get caught lying, they lie some more. They double down. They triple down. They will lie right to your face. They swore up and down they won the debate, folks. But they immediately went into defense mode. They're like, holy shit, we just got our asses kicked. What are we going to do about this? We got to get this fucking guy out of here. We got to find another nominee, somebody that can step in. What do we do? Biden, he's awesome, right? The fact that they put him up there is an embarrassing new low. The fact that they're continuing to parade him around. In fact, it's this. Every single day, they let in more people. Every single day, they say the stupidest shit. Every single day, they promote their ideas as genuine and good for the country. And it's not. It really isn't. Their commitment to destroying themselves, even on a personal level, they'll destroy themselves, folks, until they get thrown out of office. Trump isn't the only one who's throwing him out of office. He was just the first one in 2016 to get elected in a global political leadership position. Marine Le Pen had been trying before that. She got her ass kicked around, but looks like she's won, folks. It looks like she's won, right? The LGBT globalist French president, Emmanuel Macron, he got crushed, creamed, whipped into a fondue, right? In the French parliamentary elections, the Populist National Party of Marine Le Pen wants to deport the third world terrorist population in her nation, right? The fact that Trump is doing so well has everything to do with the Democrats embarrassing themselves as they do everything they can to destroy the country. The Germans also are seeing an incredible turnaround, folks. In fact, they had their political convention, their Alternative for Deutschland. That means Germany's alternative political party. Alternate, other than like globalist, destroy your country, invite in losers. They're tired of being embarrassed by their government. So what happens? Well, the AFD has its convention and Antifa comes out and is so violent that 28 police officers are attacked and injured. And one of them is in critical condition in hospital. Right? So the change is coming. The revolution is coming to go back to something like nationalism, protecting your country, getting scumbags out, closing the borders, rejecting globalist crap. Oh, it's going to be a mess, Chin Music, right? The shit show is coming. I expect World War III light. I expect violence in the streets. You know what hasn't happened yet? Let me tell you what hasn't happened in an organized fashion. I'm going to say nationalist patriots in every country have not become violent yet, but it is just starting to happen. They've accused the far right, means you and me, folks. They've accused the far right for decades of being violent. They have, for the last decade and a half, at the very least, said that, well, we need to be on a domestic terror watch list. That parents are domestic terrorists under the Biden administration. We have yet to raise a hand or a rifle and go after these politicians the way they need to be. The Antifa went after political people in Germany trying to assault elected politicians and party members. It's coming, folks. But if we become violent, it's because it's gone on for too long. It's gone on for far too long. Canada is laughing at Justin Turdhole, who is continuing to pander to his own narcissistic belief system. The French are losing. The Irish just elected a get them the hell out of our country leadership role. They are actually now beating the living tar out of every foreign invader that's been invited in by their government, who harasses women, threatens and attacks men, intimidates people. Same with England. They're starting to stand up and fight back. It will get violent, folks, in France. The leader in the Netherlands, Geert Wilders, he is saying enough. You're going to get kicked out of our country because you won't assimilate. Germany, same story. Other countries are now voting to shut down immigration and start deportation. President Trump is saying that when returned to office, we will have a deportation party like you can't believe. Imagine the trouble that will come from that. And Chin Music sent me a picture of his most recent public service announcement t-shirt. And he has on his right shoulder the American flag. And the shirt says, "Everything woke turns to shit." And indeed it does. Thank you, Chin Music, for always inspiring greatness with your messages of American kindness. All right, let's do this. Super chat donation time. You guys have something to say? I can't leave this chair and this show, well, unless someone kills the power here at the studios. We can't end the show until we talk to you guys and see what you have to say. And Boomer from Canada checks in. Boomer21 with a Canadian $20 super chat donation. And if you have something to say, that super chat button's up there. But now it's Boomer's turn. And he says this about the American presidential election. He says, "My main concern is that if Gavin Newsom replaces Brandon, this will give undecided Democrats a newfound motive towards insanity." That is an interesting perspective. And that's something that I've always tried having and maintaining, an interesting, different, unique look at stuff. And you guys, I think, are the same way. You tend to adopt ideas and thinking patterns, critical thinking. Let's examine this from different perspectives. If, folks, Gavin Newsom is selected by the DNC to replace, I pooped my pants, Joe Biden, undecided Democrats, and they're out there now because they're confused as hell, might have newfound motive towards insanity. And folks, Gavin Newsom is insane in my book. His policies are insane. Joe Biden, folks, is, how do we say this? He's not inspiring. He's not motivating. He's not full of piss and vinegar. He's not full of energy. Gavin Newsom is young. He is full of energy and full of bullshit. But he could inspire a new rallying cry behind the Democrat Party with a lot of these left-wing lunatic fucksticks out here. Right now, there is going to be a couple of problems, and you and I, Boomer, you and I, Prepared Mind crowd, You and I, network of American patriots. You know how to derail any and every Democrat nominee? We divide and conquer them. Here it is, Boomer. You ready? Everyone needs to scream and yell and ask Gavin Newsom or whoever the candidate is, who do you support? Do you support Israel or do you support Hamas and Palestine? Are you gonna keep supporting those Jews who are committing genocide against the innocent people of Palestine? Make him pick a side. Make him pick a side. I think that's a great idea. Make him pick a side. Because if he picks Israel, the pro-Palestinian Utes and morons will hate him. And if he picks, guess what side? If he picks Palestine and Hamas and all the terrorists, well, he's going to lose support from Israelis and Jewish businessmen in America and Israeli businessmen and corporations, the nation of Israel. And that's a tough one right there. That's a tough one right there because there are so many AIPAC politicians in Washington, D.C. AIPAC, folks, the Israeli Super Political Action Committee. They spend a lot of money on Democrats, and they're not happy with what is going on. Right? The anti-Semitism in America has grown off the hook. The call for violence, the destruction of, well, Israel, Israelis, Jews, both here in America and abroad everywhere on the planet is getting to a World War II Nazi-like crescendo. It really is, folks, one hell of a mess that they've gotten themselves into. And can they get through of it? It's possible, folks. We're going to find out. But yeah, Newsom, he could inspire the Utes, but the Utes are anti-Israel. Right? The Utes are anti-fascist. Antifa, anti-fascist. And we have a fascist system in the Democrat Party and the Republican Party who rely on the money from political action committees, non-governmental organizations, large corporations and banks, and rich billionaires from around the world. Truly, folks, rich billionaires from around the world. We just crossed the 1 hour mark, and I want to talk about these rich billionaires real quick. Hang on to those super chat donations, Mr. Uman. I'm going to go down a John rabbit hole real quick. I want to take you guys with me. Billionaire David Sachs, who is, I believe, a Silicon Valley douche. He has perfectly described for you and I, and I'm going to read you the quote, what the Democrats and Joe Biden and their evil regime have become. And this is what he has to say. And I quote, the Democratic Party, once again, being a billionaire doesn't mean you're smart. It's the Democrat Party. Let me restart that. Quote, the Democratic Party is a collection of interests who want to remain in power. The Democratic Party is the party of government. Its goal is to allocate money and power from the government to the collection of interests who back the Democrat Party. In other words, it's basically a collection of interests who want to loot the republic. Beautifully said. The interests are not all political. They're banking. They're corporate. They're resource. They're aristocratic interests who want to loot our republic. And let me continue with his quote, if we shall. Well, obviously, no one's going to vote for that. They've been fucking voting for it for decades. What are you talking about? Maybe he says he believes the entire destruction of our country. Let me start again. Let me start again with billionaire David Sachs's quote. Well, obviously, no one's going to vote for that. So they have to make it about something else. That's correct. We can't make the vote about destroying the country. They have to make it about something else. He continues, quote, They choose a figurehead. They talk about how this is about saving democracy. They basically invent hoax after hoax, lie after lie, to basically maintain their power. And I think that's what's happening is the mask has come off. The whole shell game has been revealed. It's obvious that Biden was always a puppet for these interests who were hiding behind him. And now it's all being exposed. I congratulate him for saying it, folks. I do. This guy, this billionaire, David Sachs, has supported and sponsored Democrat politicians with his money in the past. And now he is not. Now he is basically exposing them for what he sees them as. I congratulate him for saying that and telling the world that there are special interests, independent, un-American Democrats and rhino Republicans who are globalists and hate you and me, and they are here to loot our country, launder money, steal wealth. But I condemn him for supporting it formerly. I do. I condemn him. He supported it. He paid money to them to help pay for what they've done to this country. He expects me to believe that he, a Silicon Valley billionaire Democrat supporter, has just now finally figured it all out. He finally realized it's a fascist system where deep state rhinos and Democrats benefit from campaign money, and then they give special preference to the donors, the banks, the billionaires, the corporations, and the aristocrats. So, in his case, and the case of others who have decided to now change their mind, like Bill Ackman, do these Mr. Billionaire types, do they get cut off? Or did they decide that they have enough money now to not suck off the government giveaways? Or did his guilt finally get the best of him as his country burns from people like Biden and Gavin Newsom's policies? Well, I think that this jackass, billionaire, he better give back a huge slice of the pie that he's taken to pay for fixing the country that he helped fuck up. It's frustrating, folks, to see what they've done and then have them go, you know what? Yeah, we don't like Biden anymore. We like Trump. We want Trump in office. What have you fucking people been doing for the last 30, 40, 50 years? Voting Democrat, voting for the destruction of this country, voting for socialism, which is communism light, and communism murders, voting for these people for decades, saying, yeah, let's let the fruitcakes out of the closet. Let's let the fruitcakes get married. Let's let the fruitcakes out in the public. Let's let the fruitcakes have kids. Let's put them in corporations. And now let's let them take our children from us, singing songs about stealing children from heterosexual parents. And that's exactly what they've been doing. They're here to convert and steal our children. And this guy's been supporting it. And now he wants to pretend to be all righteous and pro-American and patriotic. What a fucking mess. Elon Musk is seeing it, folks. One of his kids is one of these trans fruits. I don't know why he allowed that. As a parent, you don't have to allow it. The government can steal your kid from you, sure. Your kid can run away from you, sure. Why the fuck did he let it get that far? I don't know, but thank you, David Sachs, billionaire, for exposing who you are and for finally coming around to seeing how screwed up things are. Mr. Uman, let's get back into the super chat donations. Pow, Dan Erickson. $2 super chat. He says, YouTube is really up in here tonight. Good, good, good. YouTube, what a bunch of crap that is. All they've done, Dan, is try and silence us and shut us up and screw us. And it's go time. It is go time. Everyone is pissed off. You, me, everyone. Dan says with a $5 super chat donation, DC right now is a snake with its tail in its mouth. Oh, yeah. It is the Ouroboros, if you know the phrase, my man. Whew, getting a little thirsty. Getting a little thirsty for that Glenn Levitt. Anyways, I'm tuned up, but I don't want to start coming down off of that. We're at an hour and 10 minutes in the show. We're going to go to 2 hours, or as long as you guys want me right here. DC is a snake with its tail in its mouth. It's eating itself. That is, by the way, the Ouroboros, folks. It's eating itself, and every empire that goes down this road does just that. It devours itself until it can no longer live, exist, or prosper. The Roman Empire is one of the greatest examples. And now the Anglo-American Empire, at the height of human power, having the power, the destructive power to destroy the world. We also, folks, by the way, have the power to save the world. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Look up Dendera. I believe it's Dendera. I think that's the country in Pakistan where they found, shall we say, what evidence of nuclear war from thousands and thousands of years ago, right? Will these people give up power, or will they nuke us all and say we don't get to have it if they can't? I think they've done it before in one way or another, folks. They pulled the old Ouroboros and just let us all have it. Anyways, Dan, thank you very much. Yes, DC right now, it's in trouble. They've got their hand in the cookie jar, right? They've got their hand in their own pants. They got their hand in everyone's pockets, but they've been caught. I think they've had it. Anyways, let's do this. Let's do some more Super Chat donations. Who's up next? And it's Chelsea Polzine Wayrung back with another $49.99 Super Chat donation. And if you do that much, $50 or more, buys me a Glenlivet 15-year single malt Scotch whiskey. Got to wet my whistle. I was getting a little dry there, Chelsea. Thank you so much for stepping on in and buying one. I cannot, folks. I cannot keep doing this show and survive without you guys. Without you guys, what's the point? With you guys, we know we've got one hell of a network that we're building and growing and spreading. Semper Fi to you. Woohoo! Thank you, Chelsea and husband. She says, how about no election? Just settle on the golf course. Winner takes all. Oh, my God. Can you believe that during the debate, they actually spent a solid minute talking golf? I would, folks, the odds of Joe Biden beating Trump on the course were the same as him beating Trump in that debate. In fact, it was pretty funny. Joe Biden actually said, well, if I'm going to play you, you got to carry your own clubs. It's like, well, Joe, are you going to carry yours? Joe can't walk a flight of steps. Joe can't turn around without tripping on his own shoelaces. Joe can't pay attention for more than 5 seconds. It reminds me of that old guy in Caddyshack where the caddy's like, no, dude. He turns the old guy and kind of aims him towards the green. Go ahead and hit the ball that way. Right? And the old guy hits it, boink, and it goes a couple of feet. And he says, golly, I'm hot today. Look out. I would love to see it settled on the golf course. Even if, I don't even, Joe couldn't carry his own club, much less clubs. I don't think Joe could walk 18 holes. Hell, I can't walk 18 fucking holes anymore. That's rough stuff down here in Florida. Not that I played golf. Folks, I haven't played golf since I was in California. And I used to play charity tournaments back then. And we use golf carts because we don't have time to walk a course all day. Anyways, it's a great idea, Chelsea. And I think that you're just trying to pull my chain and get me thinking, yeah, golf course. Right? I don't believe I don't believe there's any chance that Joe Biden can win this, which means you and I, all of us, need to get our asses active. Share that internet address right up there. Wake up, vote, Get into the game. Volunteer, become a poll worker, a poll supervisor, a vote counting supervisor. Find a way to get involved. You don't have to be a political loudmouth like me. You don't have to talk about shit hitting the fan. You don't have to tell anyone, you better have your guns. You don't have to do that. Just get involved politically. You're becoming a warrior. You are shielding and protecting America by getting involved. Even if you live in an area that you know is absolutely Republican, even if, still get involved. We need to hammer down the nails in the coffin of these vampires. And you may find you like getting involved in local politics. You may find the corruption in there and vote it out, point it out, do a chin music, show up at a political rally, meeting, convention, and point out who the scumbags are. Right? Get active. Get the right, folks. 4 years ago and 8 years ago, let me count. Scotch has got to me for a second there. I Joe Biden'd up. Yeah, 8. 8 years ago, people started getting active and realizing all of these Republicans in charge of the Republican voting districts are not Republicans. They're rhinos. They're scumbags. They're voting in local congressional districts to put rhinos in office. Get them the hell out of there, right? Get in there and put in real Republicans. Now, a lot of these rhinos are saying they're not running again. They're getting out of politics in Washington because they're being exposed on the local level, and you guys can be part of that. All right, but I'm going to get off my soapbox here. We're doing great tonight. 400 people live, plus 400. Be great to get to 500, 700, 1,000. That's coming, folks. It's coming. Wait till the riots start. Wait till the violence starts. People will show back up. They're like, oh, man, I'm back. What I miss? You dumb fucks. What do you mean, what'd you miss? You know what you missed, right? Everyone, get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense in your plan. Ooh, man, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? And it's Crypto Cajun with a 7.69 super chat donation. Pow. And Crypto Cajun says, John, do you have any insight on Congressman Massey's wife's death? I have a conspiracy theory. Not too long ago, Congressman Massey pointed out that so many of the, shall we say, politicians in Washington take money and are part of the Israeli, shall we say, dual citizenship federation. I think it should be a crime to have dual citizenship. Period. You're either an American or you're not. Now, let's just pretend like that's a little rough, a little harsh. You want to be a dual citizen? Okay. But if you're going to serve in a local, if you're going to serve in a state, and especially in a federal political position or a bureaucratic position, you do not get to have dual citizenship. You can only serve one master, the American people. I didn't say one master, the American government. No. The American people. A house divided cannot stand. And if you are loyal to another country, and when you take on citizenship, folks, you take an oath. You cannot be loyal to both Israel and America. The same way you cannot be loyal to China and America. Right, Mitch McConnell? How many of these scumbags in Washington have dual citizenship with America and China? Or on a Chinese payroll, or a Chinese corporate board, or get donations from Chinese political action committees. We have a serious issue here, folks. You can't be loyal to Israel any more than you can be loyal to Russia and America. I'm an American. I'm loyal to America. I see what Russia's doing. I'm not necessarily happy about everything with Russia, but I see why they're defending themselves. I'm certainly not happy with China, right? I have no loyalty to China, and I see how they're trying to protect themselves. I see what they're doing with gold. I see what they're doing with nuclear power. I see what they're doing with their economy. I see how they run a fascist economy under a communist dictatorship, and why they would choose a fascist economy while maintaining corporate or corporate control. They're communist. Ultimately, they can take all the corporations and property and money away from them. You can ask Robert Kiyosaki, if you will, a Japanese descendant, but an American who fought in Vietnam as a Marine. Robert Kiyosaki owned a gold mine in China, got it all set up, found the gold, and guess what? China took it from him. He's not real happy about that, by the way. I wouldn't recommend asking Robert Kiyosaki about that, but he would tell you if you just asked him. Anyways, Congressman Massey's wife's death, what a coincidence. She died shortly after Congressman Massey himself decided to make a big deal out of all of the Israeli money and influence and dual citizenship in Washington, D.C. He mainly talked about the political class that's been elected. How about all of the staffers and bureaucrats in Washington, D.C.? How about all of them that have dual citizenship and get money from, well, AIPAC or Israel? Would you want Ukraine citizens in Congress making decisions for you? Well, after the last big vote, we saw a bunch of Ukraine flags being waved in Congress. Every last one of those people should be thrown out of office, if not charged with treason. You don't wave another nation's fucking flag in our Congress. That was looting right there. Talk about looting our republic. Let's do this. Thank you, Crypto Cajun. Great topic. Keep an eye out, folks. This whole talk about Israel and its influence over our country is also coming to a head. Let us go on. Who's next? Mr. Uman. What do we have? And it's holy cow, Dan Erickson. Woo! You want to keep the party rolling, man? Here we go. He does a $50 super chat donation and going to buy me a 15-year Glenlivet Scotch. Here we go, man. Tune me up. I love it. Thank you. He says, have a drink, my man. Semper Fi. And I'm just about peaking on this one, Dan. This will put me at peak Johnness. Woo! Like mother's milk. Man, smooth. All righty. Here we go. Here we go. Now I'm feeling it. I'm going to feel it. Probably feeling the last one. I'll feel that one in a minute. All righty, Mr. Uman, who's up next? And it's the Italian Hillbilly. Woo! It's Kaz in the house. Formerly the Fourth Dimension. It's the Italian Hillbilly with a 556 super chat donation. And he says, YouTube is censoring comments. By the way, violence is inevitable on U.S. soil. The Italian Hillbilly, famous not for his blue pill, not for his red pill, but for his black pill discussions. Gotta love you, man. The Italian Hillbilly, pictured in all his glory here. A great example of being a very vocal and honest and outwardly speaking American. I love you, brother. And he is right. YouTube is censoring everything they can. If you have to, use code words. If you have to, misspell things really badly. If you want to get them on there. And violence, I'm going to agree with you, Kaz, is inevitable. There is violence right now in France. There is violence in Germany against police, against politicians. There will be violence against Jews, the Israelis, in Europe, in America, in Canada, maybe even a little bit in Australia. By the way, in the nation of Japan, they don't allow Islam, Muslims in Japan. They don't care. They don't care if you're peaceful. They don't care if you're nice and polite. You don't open the door to what can potentially become a problem. And they start off with, we love the freedom, thanks. And then they're like, well, there's more of us, we're going to start being raucous. And then they're like, as soon as we get a majority, you're fucked. And as soon as they get the majority, it's Sharia law time. And I've watched enough videos this weekend of women being burned alive, men being burned alive, men being beaten, women being stoned to death, women being whipped, women being caned, women having themselves in public being tortured and stoned to death because they refuse to obey the religion of peace. The religion of peace, I'm sorry to say. And folks, I've known people who are Muslim who are great people, nice people, wonderful people, friendly people. Dudes I've knuckle bumped, you bet. It's because there's only like one of them. My problem is those good people don't say anything the same way good cops don't say anything about the bad cops, and they don't stop it. The nice, quiet, friendly Muslims who are Muslim that like to eat bacon, right? They're not going to do anything to protect the rest of us from the radical amongst them. You know who I'm talking about, right? The radical amongst them. These guys. These guys right here. This will be part of our violence on American soil, right here. Those guys, Antifa, BLM, and all of your LGB types, LGBTQIA+, those guys. Thank you, Italian Hillbilly. Who is next? Who's up next? What do we have? We have Chelsea Polzing. Woo! Uh-oh, I'm going to be in trouble now, folks. It's coming. Let's not abuse the John. We're at 90 minutes in the show, and Chelsea Polzing Wairunga does another super chat donation on the order of $50. And here we go. We put a big freaking dent in the bottle, and this one's going to put a dent in me. But I'm good to my word. Thank you so much, Chelsea, for the great support. Mr. Husband as well. One more. Don't want you thirsty. I'm telling you, here we go. All right, Mr. Oman, who's next? Hi, Italian Hillbilly. What are you drinking, Oman? How much have you had? And it's Chin Music with a $9.99 super chat donation. If you do have something to say, folks, it's not too late. If you've got a prediction, a comment, a joke, a Biden reference, if you want to make fun of Michelle Obama's large testicles, whatever you got, super chat donation will get you down here. Now, Chin Music says, fuck these people. They've screwed the pooch so bad, and they know it's about to unravel, and they want to be on record as being against what they started. He's talking about the billionaire Sachs dude. The gay lobby and the Fauci types can fuck off. And I don't blame you for saying that. I don't. They have screwed us over so bad. And maybe he realizes now, he and others, well, we're already billionaires. What are we so worried about? We don't have to take over the government. We already own it. Well, you guys took over the government. We got the deep state in power. Even Congress will admit that they have an extra governmental body.
They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the President.
They are a cadre of professionals, professional bankers, professional aristocrats, professional lobbyists, professional lawyers, they're professionals, all right. That's their profession. That's their job. Billionaires. And now they're like, wait a minute, you're destroying the fucking economy. You're not just controlling it. We're not just benefiting it from it. You're destroying it. Bill Gates buying up farmland. Bill Gates introducing all these chemicals, drugs, and vaccines across the world and especially in America. Companies like Monsanto making shit for food. Men like Bill Gates more than happy to destroy everything. Folks, did you know that if Bill Gates spent $1 million a day for the rest of his life just blowing it on everything and everyone, he could never run out of money? He could never run out of money. $365 million a year if he gave away $1 million a day. He wouldn't go broke. He'd make that much just in interest, in value, in what he owns already. All of the billions and billions and billions and millions of dollars. He can't spend it fast enough. But he will support death and destruction of everyone. They're destroying the food system, folks. They're going after us. Bugs in the food, fake meat, Monsanto, GMO crops, chemicals and pesticides and preservatives they're spraying on food. It's no wonder people are having issues with sterility or fertility, if you will, right? The gay lobby is out there. Fauci and his medical lobby, big pharmacy, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson. Took me a few minutes. It's hitting me. It's the old Scotcheroo has got me wound up, and folks, it's bad. It's bad enough that those who know that America's a cash cow, well, guess what? Go pick up your Grimm fairy tale and read about the golden goose. Everybody wanted the golden goose. So what happened? They ended up killing it. The goose was this goose that lays golden eggs. Why would you strangle it? America is the goose that lays golden eggs, and they're killing it and destroying it. Idiots. If they can't have it, then nobody can have it. Crazy business. Chin Music, thanks for the great support, brother. Let us continue on. Mr. Uman, who's up next on this great Sunday Night Live, folks? It is, folks, next level. And we've got Opie Waddell with a $5 super chat donation. And he says, Trump, buck fighting, octagon number 2. Octagon, 2 rounds. With Butterbean as the referee. Recipe. Starting to sound like Kamala Harris. Let me get my shit together, folks. Wake up, John. 0 defects. All right. And both have tag team partners, Marge Taylor Greene and Big Mike. Now I'm going to tell you what, Opie. If we did an octagon cage fight with Trump and Biden, Trump would take Biden. But I tell you what, I would not want to go up against Big Mike. I don't think Marge Taylor Greene, even though she appears to be in good physical condition, Mike Obama, Mike Obama is a very robust woman. I think during the, shall we say, tag team partner gender identification weigh-in, that the bulge would be the giveaway. Sorry, Big Mike cannot be the tag team partner, but I would invite, Liz Piggy Cheney. Another fine Democrat would be Liz Warren. There's another Liz, or Nancy Pelosi. What other big mouth? Oh, AOC. Now we're talking, Opie. Now we're talking. AOC and Marge Taylor Greene could be tag team partners, and the winner take all. Now, I know we're making a joke, folks, but look at the Biden White House. Look at what the Democrat Party has done to our nation. They turned it into a joke. Turned it into a joke. Oh, Biden has a fossilized granny as a campaign advisor, Anita Dunn. She's done all right. She is insisting, though, that Biden, he's not going to drop out of the race. On MSNBC, she said that. He's not going to drop out of the race. No, they're going to have to get rid of him. That's how that works. It is, folks. It is. Now, as you may or may not know of this guy, his name's Paul Begala. He is a douchebag extraordinaire for the Democrats. He's a former Clinton official, former Clinton administration official, and he is warning Democrat politicians that calling for Biden to step down is going to, quote, end their career. And he reminds me of the character in Animal House who's like, everyone stay calm, no reason to panic, and they're all panicking and running by him. I think that was one of Kevin Bacon's early roles in Hollywood. No need to panic, right? They're just running over the top of him and running by him. Every Democrat is screaming for Biden to step down. Paul Begala threatening them. Right? There was a sprint to the microphones to demand his resignation after this. It is a joke, folks. But it's a sad joke because they truly are in power. Let's do this. Let's do some more super chats. Mr. Uman, who's up next? And it's a $50 Cash App donation from Heidi H12. And there it is. I just checked the old computer screen and there it is. You guys are making my Monday morning rough. And yeah, Independence Day, the 4th of July, is Thursday. Monday is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Thursday is the 4th of July. Thursday is Independence Day, when the world of America, I got to get my shit right. The colonial Americans, the colonizers of America, told the King of England, fuck yourself. Here's to those great men and women who fought and supported, risked it all. Many of them died doing it. Many of them lost their families and their fortunes. But they secured for this nation, for over 200 years, a republic that is now on the ropes. God bless you. It's on, folks. It is on. It is on. Okay. Woo! Okay, Mr. Uman. We got What Mary Loves, $4.99 super chat donation. She says, or What Mary Loves. Who Mary loves? Anyways, I don't know if What Mary Loves is a male or female. Well, doesn't matter. $4.99 super chat donation. Hey, John, have you seen the video of Zelensky dressed in latex dancing to Beyonce's Single Ladies? It seems like a joke, but it's unfortunately real. I have seen videos of Zelensky dancing to all manner of music on stage, in a movie set, a TV studio. It's disgusting. Volodymyr Zelensky, leader of Ukraine, he is committing genocide against his own people. Zelensky is very light in the loafers, a skinny jeans wearing boy toy butt pirate of the worst sort. He's killing his own people to satisfy the lunatics and megalomaniacs of the World Economic Forum and Washington, D.C., and London and the Vatican. And Israel. And every other rotten, stinking country out there that thinks that we're supposed to go to war with Russia. And it's really about Russian money and resources, folks. Russia has refused to let Western banking interests into Russia to start loaning money to the Russian government. The Russian government does not take loans from other countries. So therefore, the banking cartels cannot steal Russian resources. So they want to destroy it. And Zelensky, in all of his fruitiness, folks, I've seen the videos of him in New York City at gay pride parades before the 2018 coup d'etat, when the CIA helped radical militants steal the government of Ukraine away from its people. It's a joke, but it's also real. Thank you, What Mary Loves. All right, folks, we've got about 20 minutes left on this great show, this Sunday Night Live, and it's Dan Erickson with a $10 super chat donation. And he says, stay strapped. And that means stay armed, stay protected, stay aware. Everywhere I go, I am armed. All around me are loaded weapons. Stay armed in public. If you have a permit or if you don't need a permit, whatever you do, don't break the law. But stay armed, stay strapped. Understand everyone around you can be an ally or an enemy. You don't have to be paranoid. You don't have to be stupid. Just stay aware. Watch for suspicious behavior. Spend a few minutes doing it every time you're out. Stay strapped and aware of your surroundings. Keep trained and be ready because something is coming. And I agree. That's why I named this video, Next Level SHTF is coming. It is. The next level is coming. Biden and the debate, to me and you, it was a foregone conclusion. To those who wanted Biden exposed, whether Democrats or Republicans, they wanted to get rid of him, it was a foregone conclusion. To the Biden administration, it wasn't. To many Democrats, it wasn't. You're going to watch a lot of rats jump from that sinking ship. Truly. Those rats are going to jump from that sinking ship. But I don't think that Michelle or Gavin Newsom or Hillary or anybody is going to save it. So I think that they're going to have to do something really big, as Dan Erickson is suggesting. What it is, don't know. I don't know. We're going to see a false flag in Europe to start World War III in Europe again, like they did in World War I and II. Are they going to start some shit with China? That'd be a mistake. With Russia, full scale, that'd be a mistake. But see, they need a really big thing at this point. All-out terrorist attacks in America would result in chaos, damage, pain, and suffering. But it would also invite you and me to step up and defend our country. That's what it would do. That would be an invitation to seriously waking up in America. And that's something that every nation has said they don't want. Do not wake up the sleeping dog. Right? Let sleeping dogs lie. But they've been poking us, and we're waking up. So something is coming, Dan. I agree. What that something is, I don't know. How big is it depends on the reaction they need, or the reaction they need and they think they're going to get. Right? They don't want America united, so they don't want another 9/11. That would unite America, and we would say we're sick of the weakness in the Pentagon, the weakness in Washington. Right? They've already signaled that they're destroying America, and that's why Trump is having tens of thousands of people, tens of thousands showing up. It looks like freaking Monsters of Rock, Woodstock, all together. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. Pardon me. Defend yourself. If you're not going to carry a firearm, carry bear spray. Carry fucking wasp spray. I don't care. Carry something to defend yourself. Just do it. You've got to be aware, be ready, be fully trained because something big is coming. And hopefully you've got time to react and it doesn't happen right in front of you. And I think that is coming. Continuing to see these radical left-wingers try and block schools, airports, roads, hospitals, businesses, cities, freeways, etc. In England over the weekend, they actually went around and arrested these greeny eco freaks. They've gone to their houses. They're arresting these stop oil people in their houses because they've been planning. This is interesting. They've been planning to go out and shut down airports and shut down stuff. And the government's like, that's not helping us. So they're actually arresting these people prior to them committing their crimes because they have been conspiring in their online meetings. Now, the United States government, they could stop Antifa and BLM. They could stop these radical jihadis because they know who is committing violence and is planning on it. We're going to find out if they do, or are they going to green light them? All these groups that the FBI has been grooming and pushing, are they going to green light them? We'll find out. Thank you, Mr. Erickson, very much. I need this drink. Getting a little parched. Need to wake up, Mr. Uman. Opie Waddell is back with another $5 super chat donation, and he says, "Since you've been on the dark web, did you see Zelensky giving Uncle Buck a Lewinsky?" No. The answer is no. No, I have not. I don't want to see Zelensky giving anyone a Lewinsky. I don't want to see Zelensky giving anyone a Hak Tui. Had to do it, Mr. Uman. I got it. Had to see. No, I don't. In fact, I don't even know what the dark web. I know what it is. I don't know how to find it. I don't know what it is. Is that 4chan, Reddit? I don't know. I'm not a dark web guy. I stick mainly with fuck, John, come on, buddy. Mainstream news, right-wing news sources, Associated Press. There's enough there for us to understand what's going on. I don't need to see some of the nasty stuff. I know it's happening. I know it's out there. I know all of the child sex trafficking is going on. I don't need to see it. In fact, one of my concerns is going on this dark web, if you were to find it, and then accidentally having that shit hacked into your computer so that they can say, you're one of them. Not a fucking chance am I going to get any of that crap anywhere near my computer. But I have seen the videos of Zelensky dancing like a fruitcake, as if he is a ballerina and a belly dancer. Literally, folks. I've also seen President Macron of France, videos of him when he was younger, dancing with a bunch of fruitcakes. I mean, and we're not talking like Bee Gees disco dancing. No John Travolta Saturday Night Fever. He's dancing at some kind of a pride gathering with a bunch of men shaking it. It's pretty disgusting and filthy. I only have to see a little bit of that, and I kind of get nauseated. Like bad. All right, we've got Opie, good deal, Mr. Uman. Who is next on the Prepared Mind channel? Holy cow. Chelsea Polzine Werung is back. And husband. And now I'm going to pay mightily. I've already felt like I was going to pay, and now this seals the deal. I'd like to thank you for another scotch here, and this is John Abuse of the fun kind. Once a week, you guys treat me to this, and I really do. Thank you to everybody for supporting the channel as premium members on the preparedmind.club, premium members on subscribestar.com, here on YouTube, being a subscriber as well is very much appreciated. It really keeps this channel alive, and the message of freedom and liberty and the spiritual message of being a good person and protecting others. It's really important. Anyways, Chelsea and husband, everybody, I'd like to raise a toast to America, the red, white, and blue, right? The colors that should never run. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. Semper Fi. That is so good, and I am going to pay. Chelsea says this one is from the husband. Thank you, Mr. Husband. Wow. Woo! Okay. Biaxo with a $1.99 super chat donation says maintain a population of 500 million. Not there yet. What he's talking about, folks, is the Georgia Guidestones, which have now been demolished. The Georgia Guidestones, I think they were up since the late 70s. Someone help me out there. Fact check me. But they were a series of 4 giant stones with a big stone on top that were put up in Georgia, like seemingly overnight. And they had several things on them about the world. And one of them was reducing the world population to 500 million people and keeping it there, no higher. And that was the one thing on there that was, well, probably the most notable and worse and scary for everybody. And then not long ago, I think it was 2 years ago, someone blew them the fuck up, literally blew them up. But within a couple hours, there was a tractor there that I think broke it all up, put it in a truck, and hauled it off. Now, reducing the world population to 500 million isn't as easy as you think, because the world has right around 8 billion people. China alone has 1.4 billion. India now has 1.4 billion. Each of those countries is 3 times what the population needs to be, according to the globalist elites that love this idea. You know why they want to reduce the population? I've said this before, and I've said it for decades. It's because they can control the world population if it's 500 million or less. Having this many of us around scares them to death. It scares the elites to death because they can't control us when there's so many of us. And we can revolt or rebel. And that's what you and I are doing right now. In 2024, in this election, that's what the people of France are doing. That's what the people of Germany are doing. That's what the people of Ireland are doing. That's what the people of the Netherlands are doing, is they're voting to throw these sons of bitches out. And that's what they're doing. And they don't like it, and it scares them. I think that removing the Georgia Guidestones was an effort to hide what it is they're doing and what they're up to. Right? It's truly what they're hiding, trying to hide. But the country of Portugal, folks, is an example of what can happen if you listen to these globalist scumbags. Portugal has the highest percentage of their population, the highest percentage of the world. Portugal has the highest percentage of the world. Has been vaccinated. Thank you. Got it. The highest percentage of the world has been vaccinated. And now, as a consequence, they have the highest percentage in the world of deaths that are not normal, irregular, if you will. And it's going to continue to get worse. They're threatening us again. with more pandemic, this bird flu. If you think I'm going to line up to take that, you're crazy. Do you think the rest of the world is going to take and accept another pandemic story? Do you think the rest of the world is going to accept that? I'm not. I won't accept that it's a pandemic. I'm not going to accept that there's a vaccine that I need to take for it. But what do you think about the rest of the world? Remember, folks, they wanted to put us in concentration camps for not taking it. They wanted to have all of your privileges taken away. Take away your Social Security, take away any government privilege they could. They wanted to ban us from grocery stores and from being in public if you didn't take that shit. There was no end to the absolute threats of destruction that these people wanted for us. Population of 500 million. They want to get their Bioxo. I don't think they're going to get us there because I don't plan on submitting to them. Question, folks, are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, planning, prepping. Is part of your plan to obey an out-of-control government? I sure hope not. I really do. But the Antifa people are here, folks. They're here. They're here. They don't want us talking about this stuff, folks. They don't. All right. We've been right at 400 people live all night. Whew. And the fight is on, folks. Hollywood, by the way, has lost faith in Biden. Hollywood has lost faith in Biden. The big money has, quote, freaked out. Hollywood donors, as well as these billionaires, are threatening to cut off the Democrat Party. We're not going to give money to you. Now, that the guy I was telling you about in Silicon Valley, he's putting his money behind Trump now. But Hollywood, they'll never do that. We know they fucking hate Trump, right? But they've lost faith in Biden, and they've lost faith in the Democrats. These people are all now showing us they're on their own. Watch them start eating each other. And let me give you an example, if I can. I've got a story here of self-destruction by these Democrats. And trust me, folks, when people start self-destructing, what do? What have every one of these mass murderers, these LGBTQfers, what is it they do? They write a manifesto. Then they arm themselves and they go start killing people. They're self-destructive, right? You may or may not remember this guy, but he used to be a big deal. Keith Olbermann is asking CNN, he's calling for CNN to be literally burned down because they didn't help Biden during the debate. As if CNN, folks, could do a whole lot to help him that they didn't already do. Like, they're being watched by all of us. It's like the most watched CNN show ever, the debates. They were being watched like hawks. In fact, one of the moderators, the broad, like get a little hand signal at one point, and she got caught. She's been called out by Representative Matt Gaetz from Florida, right? They couldn't help this helpless dictator any more than they did. I'm sure he had an earpiece. I'm sure he was whacked out and pumped up on drugs. I'm sure they gave him the questions ahead of time. But he's a doddering idiot, of course. But folks, the leftists are eating their own. Hollywood is backing off. They're losing big donors. And Keith Olbermann is calling for CNN to be burned down. I don't know why he's not being arrested, because that's like, what did Madonna say about Trump in the White House? They need to burn it down. Thought that was kind of a threat. Crazy stuff, folks. Crazy stuff. Wow. Where are we at? 2 hours. Holy crap. I think we've got all the super chats done, Mr. Uman. All super chats have gone in. And you guys, we've got a hell of a week coming. And Thursday is the 4th of July. It is our Independence Day. Juneteenth is not Independence Day. Juneteenth is an embarrassment. Independence Day, folks, it's not about barbecues. It's not about drinking beer too much. It's not about fireworks. It's about remembering the people that support and love this country and freedom. You guys, this is our holiday. America's holiday. It's America's holiday. It's not Washington, D.C.'s holiday. It's not the president's holiday. It's our holiday to remember the Declaration of Independence. Read it. I'll be reading it on the 4th of July to you guys. Yes, indeed, I will. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Godspeed to you all. Get prepared. And as Dan said, get trained. Training, physical, mental, and self-defense training. Semper Fi.